There are people.
Yeah,
Start.
yes, sir. No, I was just doing that, got it of the recording. Yeah. Section 2. An accident is an exteriorization of a thought. Purpose of an accident. Explanation of an accident and accidents in history. An accident is an event which happens to one or more persons or things unexpectedly, without being foreseen and without intention. Therefore, the accident stands out from general and foreseen order of events as unusual or separate. A so-called accident is, like any other event on the physical plane, a thought in a certain part of its course. A thought is a being created by the conscious light and desire, and which, when issued, has in it an aim, a potential design, and a balancing factor. Which balancing factor, like the needle of a compass, points to the final balance of the thought as a whole. Do you want to discuss this first?
Let us go a little bit more.
Okay. The thought endures until the balancing factor has brought about an adjustment through the one who issued the thought. The thought endures until the balancing factor has brought about an adjustment through the one who issued the thought. The balancing factor causes exteriorizations as long as the thought endures. Whenever the thought, moving in its courses, approaches the physical plane, it causes the one who issued it to be in place for an exteriorization of that thought. An exteriorization can happen only when there is a juncture of time, condition, and place.
Correct. Let us stop here.
Yes,
right?
sir.
So what is he saying? An accident is an event which happens to one or more persons or things unexpectedly, without being foreseen and without intention. Therefore, the accident stands out from the general and foreseen order of events as usual or separate. A so-called accident is like any other event on the physical plane, a thought in a certain part of its course. What does this mean? A thought in a certain part of its course.
So the question here is what exactly it means when he says thought has a course of action.
No, it is not thought having a course of action.
Yeah,
the event has a course of action, sir. It is not the thought. See, yeah, thought has a journey. It has to. What is thought or what we see physically outside is an exteriorization of a set of thoughts.
Yes.
Correct. A so-called accident is like any other event. In other words, it is an exteriorization of a thought. And the thought to manifest, right? Thought is just one part, correct?
Thought is one part of?
What you are going to exteriorize. Let us for a moment assume that you are an artist. Where will your picture come from?
Idea, the thought.
Correct. So you are starting. That thought has to take a complete shape. It has to take a particular impression that is there in your mind.
Yeah.
That is the course of that thought. The overall form that you are wanting to picturize, the thought is in a certain portion of its course. The bigger picture, the smaller picture. Right? A thought is being created by the conscious light and desire. Would you agree?
Yes.
Conscious light is what you are able to make out of the impression that is sitting in your mind, which is restricted by your ability to think.
That is from the knower.
No, not from the knower part. The knower is now sitting in one of your glands, right? The knower is sitting inside you as the doer.
Right. Yeah. So then,
Correct. So,
right. So the doer gets the thought.
correct.
Yeah.
Now there is a desire.
Yeah.
That desire is generating based on the information capability of the thinker, the doer, with his conscious light, he is able to visualize something. So a thought is being created by the conscious light and desire. In addition to that, what? And which, when issued, has in it an aim, a pattern, an objective, a pattern, and a balancing factor, which is your size, shape, and all that. Which balancing factor? Like the needle of a compass. That means this balancing factor is the one which is helping it take a fulcrum. Your thought is the balancing factor here.
Right.
Points to the final balance of the thought as a whole. What is the
I didn't get
thought?
why is the word balancing used here? What exactly is balancing?
The balance between the desire and the conscious light.
Okay.
A thought is a portion of that, right? Abhi maan lo you are doing a butterfly class. Where will you start?
Hmm.
You will not start with its wings, right? When you are going to explain something to me as a thought, how will you explain it to me?
No, I didn't get what you're asking.
See, when you are going to explain about a butterfly, where will you start?
From the basics.
What is that basic?
And it would also depend on what level you already are.
You first answer the question because I am relating the two.
Okay.
First, we will define the physical features.
Okay, you may start with the physical features or you may start with the eggs.
Yeah.
Okay. Life cycle.
Now, eggs is your desire is to explain about butterflies to me.
Okay.
Whereas my ability to comprehend depends upon my conscious light.
Yes. Yes.
Right? So you may start with the thought of an egg. I am able to relate to it. Now, what is egg in this story? It is a part of the bigger picture, right? See, a thought in a certain part of its course, right? An accident is a certain part in its course. Suddenly we will find that the whole thing is clear or something happens. But how is he building that? He is starting with a thought, is a being created by the conscious light and the desire, and which when issued has in it an aim, a potential, and a balancing factor. So when you say egg, can I start imagining with a ostrich egg? और 1.5-2 किलो का होता है, right?
So,
When you are explaining also, you need to keep balancing, right? So that whatever you are thinking, you are able to explain that to me, right? In terms of my ability to comprehend, which means I am able to visualize it by the conscious light that I have.
Okay,
which
but
is
that
what we
would
are
be.
struggling with in reading this book, no?
Hmm.
Right? So a
That is
thought is a
when we're
being.
talking about two people, right?
Pardon?
That is when we're talking about my thoughts being transferred to you.
No, that is only an example. Now you are reading this book, please try to understand and explain.
Okay.
This is how things happen in life. No? First, we try to understand.
Hmm.
A thought is a being created by the conscious light and desire. And which one issue has in it an aim, a potential design, and a balancing factor. That means, so there are a lot of ifs and buts also as part of the thought. ये हुआ तो ऐसा करेंगे, वो हुआ तो वैसे करेंगे. Do you agree? Because with the thought is born the bigger picture. But there may not be enough light for us to visualize the bigger picture. So when it starts, it has an aim, it has a potential design, and it has a balancing factor. Which balancing factor, like the needle of a compass, points to the final destination of the thought as a whole. Now put this into context and explain the butterfly to me. How will you conduct this session? See, you are going to a group of novices, man. Okay.
Yeah.
Now you are going to explain about the butterfly.
Okay.
How are you going to explain?
So basically start from the basic which they can relate to and then move it to other things that
Okay.
they may or may
What
not
are
know.
those? What are those? Go a bit backward. I said, Priya, tomorrow you are conducting this session on butterfly.
Okay.
How will you do your preparation for that?
First, I will need to know what is the level of the people I'm going to talk to, how much they already know.
I can't give you any answer. It is only a
Okay.
challenge I have thrown at you.
Okay.
So how will you prepare?
So if I'm not sure of the level, then I go right from the basics. So I have to start right from maybe
So
first start.
now,
What a
what
butterfly.
is the first thing that hits your mind? A thought,
Huh.
right?
Okay.
You have to be able to comprehend the lowest level of visibility or the consciousness of the other person's light, and then you have to start your explanation.
Correct.
Correct. Now,
Correct.
as you are thinking, take a leaf, on that you see small spots, you will explain the eggs like that to me. But as you are adding more and more light to it, there is a bigger picture in the mind. For your thought, there is an aim. Why you are constructing it like that is there is an objective.
Yes. So I'm
There is
leading
a
it to something
pattern.
else.
There is a pattern in you. You are leading my thinking, and knowing that I may start thinking wildly, you will start balancing your sentences.
Okay.
Okay. Right? So,
yeah,
when you are issuing the thought, you need to have these three things and the balancing act. So that you don't let my imagination run wild. Correct? This is the way I am understanding that sentence. Others can add value because this is a very important element. Sir, your opinion, Jagdish sir?
So can you share that screen so that we can see those slides also?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that part as far as where the compass that becomes a compass, which ultimately directs you towards what the I would say the ultimate objective of the thought occurs is perfectly right.
Correct.
What you said is right.
Right.
There is a slight issue here.
Hmm.
If you look at the larger context in which he's talking about this,
Hmm.
which is about the accident. So a very particular from the thought, that is passes this course, their objective is to achieve something else, which is occurring an event, exteriorization of a particular
Yeah.
thought.
No, we have not yet reached that point. That's why I didn't
Yeah.
talk about that portion.
Yeah, that's it. But only when you explain this part of it, what you said is perfectly right.
Correct. Right. Now,
Yeah.
the thought endures until the balancing factor has brought about an adjustment through the one who issued the thought. So there is a responsible person for this energy getting released. Which means बैटरी चार्ज हुआ तो बैटरी ड्रेन जब तक नहीं होगा तब तक ये कंटिन्यू होगा. The balancing factor causes exteriorizations as long as the thought endures. That means as much as energy is being given, it will continue. The balancing factor is the one that is causing the exteriorization. That means there are other elements at play. Whenever the thought, moving it in its courses, approaches the physical plane, it causes the one who issued it to be in place for an exteriorization of that thought. An exteriorization can happen. There are three elements on which the exteriorization will happen. In the absence of none, in the absence of even one, it will not be complete. Right? So it needs a juncture of time, condition, and place. Any of these could be part of the balancing factors. Any of these could be the balancing factor. The laws which control the exteriorization do not always fit in with the intention and expectation of the persons concerned. Why is that? Why do you think it is like that?
Because there may be a bigger plan, so if not everything will go according to what you're thinking.
Because there
Maybe
are others also
what-
thinking, right?
Maybe
Yes,
against
and-
the plans you have already made before.
No, see, the exteriorization relationship is today's thoughts, yesterday's thoughts, tomorrow's thoughts.
coming.
Now, if it is your individual thought, you are the one who is responsible for that, you are the only one who is affected, then there are no other thoughts at play but your thoughts at play, if it is something very personal. But if it is a larger group involved, everybody's thoughts have to play a role, right? The laws
This is
which
like that,
control the
This is like the traffic,
huh.
two people at the traffic signal, who will get to go first if both want the light to change.
Correct. So the laws which control the exteriorization do not always fit in with the intention and expectation of the persons concerned. And the exteriorization is then called an accident. You have your intentions, I have my intentions, Anup has his intentions. There are three different intentions. You are starting with a particular way, but and you are the one who is going to be impacted because you are the one who raised that thought initially. And it is for yourself, but we are also influencing that thought. An accident is a perceived physical part of a thought which is proceeding on its otherwise invisible course. So now let us put the whole thing together and then reread what is happening.
Sir, I have a question here.
Yes, sir.
A thought is a being. What does he mean by that?
See, what is a sense, sir? No, no. What is our sense if we start with feelings and whatever organs you are getting, they are all individual beings, right?
Organs are individual beings and
Not organs, your feelings.
I mean,
See, all of
Feeling-
them carry some kind of a life. That is what he means by being.
a thought is a being.
See, if it has energy, it has life in itself.
Yeah, yeah.
उतना ज्यादा नहीं सोचने का.
Probably not the feelings, but yes, thought you can consider it as a, a being, because you nurture it just like a baby, you raise it, and then it's, get manifested in the world, so that's why
Correct.
probably
But
it is referring as a
for
being.
it to
Yes.
manifest, Anu, in the introduction part, there are 4 things that are required, right?
Yeah.
Right? You need air, you need water, you need fire, you need this one for anything to manifest physically.
Yeah.
Given that, right, your sense organs, which are your eyes, nose, ear, and this one, they are the beings who are doing the transition and transformation. So, a thought triggers, or the sense triggers, or the feelings trigger, or the desire. All of them trigger because they interact with the 4 organs, the sense organs, which in other words is the word being that he refers to them.
That way you can refer actually anything as a being, right? Because everything has that energy.
No,
Yes,
can I just
yes.
can I add a little? Can
Yes,
I add
sir.
to my interpretation?
Yeah,
You see, the word being should be understood very carefully here. Now, let us say there is a tree. You say the tree is a being. That's one way of looking at a being. But they say, I am a being. Is it the same? Saying a tree, there's a tree over here which is a being, is the same as saying, I'm a being. Not, right? When you say a tree is a being, you're looking at an object. When you say I am being, you're looking at a sense of feeling out there. I should be very careful with the use of words. The sense is used in a different context here. So I say that feeling, that being, this thought is part of that being. When I say thought is being, that innate feeling inside, which is actually is part of that all the matter that you have, and that's why you are a being. The tree said that it is a being. You said the tree is a being.
So-
the tree itself doesn't say it's a being.
while
So
I agree
this-
with that contention,
that the concept of being and the nothingness.
sir,
There's the concept.
actually,
Yeah,
if we take his context into consideration, right, anything that responds to the 4 sense organs, it is the organs which are the beings.
that's what I'm saying. Phil, how do
Okay,
you get the
now
feeling?
what is the
Right?
difference between you and a tree when it comes to the nature matter?
That's what I said. So, no, that's where the use. You very carefully use the word being there.
Correct, correct.
When you look at tree as a nature matter, yes, but if you look at it as an object, or I can even say, okay, the human being, okay, Chandra Madali is a being, which is very different.
Correct.
I am being. At that point in time, the same being that you are feeling, I refer to as an object.
Sir,
A
that
being
is
can be
true.
referred to an object. A being, here it's not the object part of the being.
but
you're
it
looking at
is
the-
not necessarily the object, or it could be the object. It depends. Because these 4 beings, when I say these 4 beings, right, it is the
Yeah.
sense organ input and output, the visual organ input and output, or the auditory input or output, or the nasal input or output.
Correct. That's what I mean. When I say being, I am being, I'm looking at all this. It's a concept. I'm conscious of these things. That is what is
True.
being. When you say a tree is being, it's not conscious of what it is. So when I say here being, so like you rightly said, these are all these various factors that are there. I'm conscious of that. That is the feeling. That's when I say I'm being.
Sir, but from a spiritual perspective, right?
Same thing, spiritual, existential, that's the same
No,
thing.
then what happens is, what is the difference between the tree and you?
No, I'm using tree as an example
Huh.
because that's a different entity. When you can call that also a being, but you're not looking from the tree's point of view, the feeling etc. When I say
No,
I am being,
actually,
like
yeah.
you are looking at all these very factors, the factors that gives you all these senses, and you are conscious of that. When you say I am being, you're consciously thinking of these factors of your within you.
Sir, I think
That's what I am being. So when you say the thought is the being, is that is within you. That's
What
what
is a response to any of these sensory inputs is all I would read it as.
that is right. If you want to simplify it, that's all that it is.
Correct. See, no, I'm trying to stick to the context of the book.
Right.
Right. And that is a big challenge, as you are pointing out.
Yes.
Right?
I told you
Yeah.
earlier, language is a big issue there.
Yeah,
Always
yeah.
in philosophy.
Language, I have to go to 1896 or something like that when he started the book. And that language,
Yes.
no one here has the ability to go to.
Sir,
Correct.
sir,
Yeah.
if I may suggest,
Yeah.
it could be just that A is a typographical error. Then you read the sentence, things would be different.
No,
All right.
I don't think that is correct, sir. Because he is actually building the spiritual component for us to understand and comprehend.
True, but there is no physical component here when he says a being, and your advocacy also was the same thing. A being is made up of 4 elements.
Correct,
A
sir.
thought is not made up of 4 elements. A thought
There is nothing that is not made up of 4 elements.
No, a thought comes
On the
into-
physical world, there is nothing that is not made out of that 4 elements.
The thought, is it physical?
Yes. It is a response for
Thought-
those
thought-
inputs.
Thought, I thought, is an energy.
Sir, that way even we are energy. If we try to bring that argument, then everything becomes energy.
Right, but the thought
See,
is
a
not
thought,
constituting the 4
Sir,
elements.
see, currently, what are the inputs we have? We have 4 organs.
No, 4
Right? No,
elements.
no, let me complete this one. We have 4 organs, which are both input and output. Some of them are just input also. Right? Now, the response of the doer in the body is because of these 4. Correct? Now, the doer in the body has been gifted the thinker and the services of the thinker and the knower. It has been gifted to the doer. Now, what is his inputs? These 4 are the ones which, till his feeling and desire is balanced, they are going to continuously influence you. Right? Now, how is the influence? You get a desire. Now you have to generate a pattern in line with the desire that you have got. So you have to think. So thought power is essential. Thought power is again a reflection of the light that is going to hit us based upon how much I know, what is my level of consciousness. Right?
Yes.
So now this desire, I will put some activity together. What am I doing in that activity? It is again a sequence of thoughts where I am using these 4 senses only.
No, you are using the input from the 4 senses. You are not using the 4 senses to think. You are using the input from the 4 senses to...
Correct, sir, but you didn't get my sentence. I am repeating now. See, take the desire, the imbalance between your desire and feeling. Who is the one who is perpetrating those 2?
Do you?
But who? In the doer, who? Who is controlling the doer at this point in time?
The thought?
No, it is the feeling. These four senses are the ones that are controlling. They are the ones who are causing the balance and imbalance. The thinker is only giving you light because thinker is coming from the mental plane and the knower is coming from the neotic plane. Light is coming from the neotic plane only because that is the light world.
That's right.
Am I right, sir, Jagdish sir?
Very difficult to actually explain that. Let me lightly look at. If he agrees that the thinker and the thought are not the same,
Correct.
then the idea of thought as like you said, the thought as a being becomes clear.
Exactly.
Thinker and thought, then thought is a being. That should be clear.
True. Sir, the service that the thinker has given to the doer in the body is the thought. Because
Correct.
he has also
So
got the active, he has also got the active component and the passive component.
Correct.
Right? Because he has got the rightness and reason. Between them, the imbalance is the one that is generating that thought.
That's why thought is a being.
Exactly.
That's all. That is why thought is a being.
That is why thought is a being.
Correct.
Not
It is
only
it is
thought.
like something, it is like something that has been created and brought into being. So it is becomes like a
No,
being.
no, it is a being because that imbalance is still there. See, Priya, we
Yes,
have
sir.
7 minds.
Hmm.
2 minds belong to you as the thinker. 2 belong to you as the knower.
Yes.
2 belong to your doer.
Yeah.
The 7th one, please remember, in his theory, the body is consistent. Either it is immortal or it is mortal, but the body is consistent, which is the clothing of the triune self. When it is immortal, the triune self is occupying it. When it is mortal, the doer is occupying it, the living part of the soul.
Okay.
Okay. Now, when all these are able to think and feel in a similar manner, then it is a balance. Then the triune self is in balance. So you have to feel the same, you have to experience the same, you have to think the same, you have to visualize the same, your logic should be the same. All of them lead to only one place, that is Rome. That Rome in our case is balance. If we are imbalanced, right, then we are back to purification. Till that balance is achieved. So you have got one being coming from the knower, one being coming from the thinker, one being coming from the doer and the body. All these, those feelings are the beings.
Okay.
There's dropped off, Kanchan has dropped off. Right? So we need to, that is the balance that he is talking about. Now, with this
So
revised understanding,
balance between these four, that they're all in line with the same thing.
correct. Now, each of them is going to give you one perspective. One is going to give you about your I-ness and selfness. Your ego and your conscience has to be the same. Right? That is your neotic plane.
Yeah.
That balance has to be achieved. The one who is being operated by them is the being. By all these 7 components, the one who is that? Is the doer in the body.
The doer.
Correct. Right? So he is the one who is part and parcel to this till he achieves that cleanliness, that balance, so that he has passed through breadth and form. He has become the AIA unit. From AIA unit, he is slowly moving towards his ultimate intelligence.
Intelligence. Yeah.
Right? So now, with this revised understanding, let us reread that para.
Yeah.
Away. A thought is a being created by the conscious light and desire. Okay? So desire is the root cause. Your understanding is the one to bridge the gap. You have to do something between your right and reason. Okay? And which, when issued, has it in it an aim, a potential, design, and a balancing factor. Aim किसका हो गया? Aim, if I want to break it down into those three components, is it possible, is where I am thinking. There is a pattern. There is an aim to reach that pattern, and there is a method or the process that you will define that becomes your balancing factor. Am I right?
No, sir, I need that repeated once more.
See, let us read it. A thought is a being created by the conscious light and desire. Desire किसका है? Doer का.
Doer ka. हाँ.
ठीक है? Conscious light किसका है?
Thinker.
हाँ, thinker का है, knower का है.
Light.
It comes from the intelligence, right?
Okay.
So it is coming from the light is from the radiance. Pattern is from the thinker. Correct.
Okay.
So now this conscious light is working with the doer. When it is issued, it has got three components to that. It has got a component which is a objective, a purpose. It has got the shape of a purpose, which is your form, which is your pattern. And it has got a balancing factor, which means it is doing the rightness and reason together. Jagdish sir, would that be a right interpretation?
No, I agree with that.
Right. So it has got a portion assigned to each of these three beings. So that is the reason why he is using the word being there. Because all these six components are involved in that. Which balancing factor, like the needle of a compass, points to the final balance of thought as a whole. What is the reason for the thought?
Yeah.
The reason for the thought is the desire. Correct?
Right. Yes.
And the visibility of a pattern which is coming from the conscious light.
Yeah. Initial input. Yes.
Correct. It has a name, it has a potential design and a balancing factor, which balancing factor, like the needle of a compass, which points to, actually what he means is this balancing factor points to the final balance of the thought as a whole. Yahan tak to we are all in the same page, correct? Now let us go a little bit ahead. The thought endures until the balancing factor has brought about an adjustment through the one who issued the thought.
So who issued the thought is the knower.
No, here,
The doer.
the desirer. The desire is the
Whoever-
one who is triggering the thought, correct?
Yeah, whoever issued the thought.
Correct. So for the desire, there is a complete process. That process is what he is referring to in this entire thing. And each of these beings contributes as a single being. That thought itself is the being. It's an outcome of the interaction between so many things. That is why. And it has to come to the light. So there is a light factor, which is nothing but the selfness and I-ness. It has to become part of the I-ness. No. And which one issue has in it, see, there is an end objective, so there is an aim. It has got a particular shape that you have created, right? And it has got a balancing factor. The balancing factor in the management world, probably I will use the word theory of constraints. Right? So, like the needle of a compass points to the final one, final balance. What is this final balance of thought? The overall outcome, given the adjustments that have to be done. So, the thought endures until the balancing factor has brought about an adjustment through the one who has issued the thought. That means till his satisfaction levels, it has to continue. जैसा फिल्म मेकिंग में एक्टर जितना भी कर ले चलेगा, लेकिन डायरेक्टर रिपीट नहीं बोलेगा तब तक वो एक्सेप्टेबल है. एक बार रिपीट बोला तो उसको रिपीट करना पड़ेगा. Right? The balancing factor causes exteriorization as long as the thought endures. Right? Thought is the one which has been created by these two elements. Till they are satisfied, it will keep on enduring. Which one way, if you look, I would tend to agree with this argument. Right? We are the desirer. The knower in the body has to meet what I am looking for. Let us put this example aside and look at the production of a movie, a scene. Right? Who is the desirer? The producer. Producer has delegated the desirer's objective, the outcome, to a director. They have discussed, they have come to an understanding, and they have created a desire, and they have created a light. They have given it a shape. Now this thought is now proceeding in the direction of converting that thought. It has got an objective, it has got a shape, and it has got a time, place, and thing to sequence it, to make it happen, and now it is being triggered. The director, the thought, will keep on enduring till, because he is the one who has issued the thought, he has taken over the responsibility of the thought that has got issued. Till that is completed, the onus of meeting that thought requirement and getting satisfied becomes the director, which is one of the beings inside us out of these seven. So till that issuer of the thought, his aim, his pattern, his objective, his timing, all that is met, he will halt the progress and keep on repeating it. That is my take from this entire para.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Right, sir?
Yes.
Yeah,
Like
and
this,
from
sir?
this, no, yeah, and from this, now you can better understand why thought is a being.
Exactly.
To this example, right? Now you can better understand why thought is a being.
इतना मुश्किल लैंग्वेज कहां से लेके आया सर ये आदमी?
So language is all, philosophy is language.
All that because of that one letter A.
Yeah.
A being, that's what.
So now let us proceed further. Okay. Now this thought, sir, बहुत बढ़िया. अभी डायरेक्टर के माइंड में जो पिक्चर है वो नहीं आया, तो it is an accident. Accident could manifest as a failure. It could be anything.
Yeah.
I think this is a perfect example. कहाँ से आया पता नहीं. Maybe पीछे बैठ के वही धक्का दे रहा है.
So whatever the aim, when they did not reach that aim, that is a failure. That is an accident.
No, it is an accident. Now look, take the same example of the producer, director, actor, and the story writer, all of them.
Yeah.
Right? There are so many beings involved, so many thoughts involved.
Yeah.
So many
Unless
balances, because the ability, the light consciousness of each individual needs to be tuned to that. वो पूरा समझ में नहीं आया जैसा हम लोग का अभी हालत है.
So here everybody's thought should be balanced to the original aim, that original thought.
That is perfect, no? Because what is the purpose of the universe? Again, go back to that fundamental sentence.
Yeah. So everything should be in balance
All
in the
of us
nature.
progressing towards the ultimate intelligence together.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, let us read further.
And also here something in your strikes my mind that it also coincides. I mean, like we can say in philosophy, like drashta, the seer and the seen are same actually, because it's like a subject and object. See,
Hey, you will give it various names.
Yeah.
I agree. Right. Now he says this. The balancing factor causes exteriorizations as long as the thought endures. The moment the director says, I am okay, right? Maybe he has compromised. His expectation was a suit of for a 9 feet person, and he is adjusting with 8.5.
Yeah.
ठीक है, एक सॉक्स थोड़ा लंबा स्टॉकिंग पहना देंगे और काम चला लेंगे. Right? So he is changing his perspective. That means his thought, any of these could be a limiting factor, is the takeaway that I am ultimately seeing. When it does not proceed or progress in the direction that it started from, right? So the balancing factor causes exteriorizations as long as the thought endures.
Yeah.
Whenever the thought, moving in its course, approaches the physical plane, it causes the one who issued the thought to be in place for an exteriorization of that thought. An exteriorization can happen only when there is a juncture of time, condition, and place. This probably could take the same example and interpret it as एक सीन 50 बार कर लिया, उससे ज्यादा तो उसको प्रोग्रेस नहीं जा रहा है. इधर फिल्म वेस्ट हो रहा है, सब कुछ वेस्ट हो रहा है, टाइम वेस्ट हो रहा है, डेट रिलीज डेट नजदीक आ रहा है. So you will compromise. Right? Your exteriorization is depending upon the place, the time, and what was the third one? At the juncture of time, condition, and place.
Condition.
Right? The laws which control the exteriorization do not always fit with the intention and expectation of the persons concerned.
Yeah.
And the exteriorization is then called an accident.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
An accident is a perceived physical part of a thought which is proceeding on its otherwise invisible course.
Yeah.
the exteriorization makes visible that part of the thought which touches the physical plane and is not yet balanced. The demonstration is made on or through the person who is concerned in the accident. बेचारा प्रोड्यूसर का तो लग गया है यहाँ पे.
Sir, what about natural disasters, sir?
वो बाद में आएंगे, तुम एक्सेप्शंस को मत लेके आओ, पहले जनरल को प्रोसेस समझो, फिर we will get into natural disasters and calamities. Because natural calamities, is it only your thought?
Combined.
I'm
It
thinking
is
collective.
combined thought, and the endurer there is the universe itself.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking.
We did one chapter of this in that Seth book, no, sir?
Yeah.
About
Then not only Seth book, यहाँ पे भी वो लेके जाएगा. He is now going to take us through the destiny of each of the minds. He is taking through each of the body parts. वो पूरा लेके जाएगा. जब अपने को पूरा करके छोड़ेगा, we will also become mad like him.
So you think he's a mad person?
Huh? As of now, yes, because his conscious level and mine is not matching in any way.
That's why we are working towards it, right, sir? That is why we came together.
So in the first round, whatever we understand, we are satisfied. उसको बाद में आके most of the time we are only meeting with accidents in our understanding. But yes, I think this is a good example, right? Anup? Anup is there?
Yes, I'm there. Yes.
So these accidents are wonderful that way.
There are no accidents. Actually, they are just incidents which you fail to acknowledge.
Okay, I mean, you're only changing the different. See, your consciousness is different from mine. I am not
Yes.
going beyond the book.
Which you are thinking that you have not gone your way, so it becomes accident for you.
Huh. Exactly, no? That is the
Yeah,
one
yes.
that he is actually driving at. Yeah.
Right. So I think there was another, small example that I came across. So there was one lady, and I met that lady. She always she had that kind of a thing that I'll become doctor one day, doctor. But she got into academics and things like that. So she was a primary teacher. And then one fine day she met a saint, and then he also told him, no, you're going to become doctor one day. And almost her age, passed off and passed away. And then then later on, she found that she at the, at a very later juncture, she completed her PhD and then she got the doctorate.
Correct.
Right.
I was about to say that. So
she
she has
became
stitched
doctor.
the cloth. I mean, she has stitched a suit according to the cloth available.
Yes. So she didn't manifest it probably that what kind of a doctor she want to become, right? What is a medical doctor or you want to have a general doctor, right?
No,
doctorate.
I think it's a wrong example, because the thought of a medical doctor is a thought of a medical doctor. There is no confusion between the words of a PhD doctor or a medical doctor.
Sir, that is the intention.
Is a medical doctor, and the thought manifestation means she should have become a medical doctor.
No, sir, that is what he is explaining to us. Accidents happen. She thought she will become a medical doctor. Ultimately, she adjusted with this doctor.
Yeah.
Right. So it didn't happen.
Correct.
So the
So
manifestation.
that becomes an accident.
So we are.
When it doesn't go your way, that is the fundamental definition of an accident. Not the accident that we perceive. बाहर गया, टांग टूटा, एक्सीडेंट हो गया. टांग नहीं टूटा, एक्सीडेंट से बच गया. Right? That accident is different. But if something is not happening the way you want, that itself is an accident. That is the explanation that he is leading us to. Yeah. So yeah. Priya
You
ma'am,
can also take it that way. If I'm sleeping tonight, if I'm not waking tomorrow morning, then people will say, oh, accidentally this poor guy died in his sleep, right?
hmm,
But when I'm waking up today morning, right, then it's a business as usual. So I'm not. So it's an incident. So you don't take it that
yeah.
way. You know.
Now he is coming to the other part. Priya ji?
Sir, I have a question, sir. This is
Yes.
Swarna. So if the accident means it's an individual thing, thoughts are not strong, or the collective thoughts are not coordinated.
Let me ask you a question. Sarna,
Hmm.
I give you a balloon.
Hmm.
Okay? I have blown air into it and I have put a piece of paper.
Hmm.
You are holding one end of that, I am holding another end, somebody else is holding a third end.
Hmm.
Right? As you exert pressure by means of thought, others are also exerting. Where will that paper come? Where will that paper settle? Inside the balloon.
Everyone is holding, right, sir?
Everyone is pressing, everyone is compressing, causing a movement of the pressure, right? Each one's pressure is equal to the thoughts that are applied.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
Where will it settle?
Wherever
I think
more
It will,
pressure.
in simple terms, it will settle in
Wherever.
wherever the resultant of
pressure.
that force is going to indicate, it will go and settle there, correct?
Yeah, wherever the more force.
No, it is not more. The combined impact of all those pressure points, it will go in
Forces,
a
yeah.
particular direction.
Hmm.
It is not a direction that you intended, nor is it a direction in which, let us say, Anup intended, or let us say the third person is Jagdish sir. So it is not even a point that he intended.
Hmm.
Your intention was very clear. You wanted to send it in a particular place.
Hmm.
My intention or Anup's intention or Jagdish sir's intention is I have to prevent that.
Hmm. So my force should be more.
See, either it should be more, it should be less. We will come to that. But this is the influence. Don't go beyond that, because then what is happening is we are getting into a discussion and confusing ourselves. ये किताब पहले जब तक नहीं समझते हैं ना वो चैप्टर को, तब तक we will stick to it. Then with our understanding we will bring in variations. Right?
Right.
So,
because this accident. Yeah, please go ahead.
So now it has not met your objective, but you have accepted the outcome. That means your thought has not enduring anymore. It is over. आपके थॉट में जो भी स्टीम था, अरे यार इधर जाना था, इधर नहीं गया, कम से कम इधर तो पहुंच गए, ठीक है, I am accepting it. The moment I do that, right, it is an accident. At the same time, you have accepted the accident.
Yeah, because why I'm asking is like same thing happened in my sister's case. She wanted to be a doctor because my older sister is a doctor, and she did like 2 times of long-term coaching. But my dad wants her, hey, you just enjoy your life, just be a tailor. Tailor also holds that scissor. Doctor also holds. So he used to tell her when she was younger, so be a teacher, like that. So I'm thinking like maybe everybody's intention is not that strong, but my sister's case, like I think my dad wanted very strongly, and everybody wants, she's older, so I'm just trying to see like maybe her intention is also not strong.
No, we don't know the impact
I don't know the confused thoughts,
we
collective
don't know
thoughts.
the impact of the other's thoughts on your sister, right? Only she may know about it, she may not talk about it.
Right. Yeah,
That is
but
also a
eventually
possibility, right? But
right,
as far as her intention was concerned, it's an accident.
Yeah, she became a PhD because she wanted a doctor. So she
But-
became a PhD and she's now happy. I see exact those feelings in her. So the same example came here. So I just trying to
quite possible. I
correlate.
mean, it's not what you call. It could be debatable. It could not be. Now, who is the one who created that thought? Who is the one who accepted that thought?
That thought, exactly. Yeah.
Right?
And maybe
If-
that might not have there in her soul plan, for her purpose may
See,
not
no,
be
no,
that.
no,
So
no.
it
See,
is. No.
please don't complicate the matter. We will stick to what is visible. Let us
Yeah,
not stretch our imagination to bring in the invisible.
Okay.
वो जो unmanifested है उसको उधर ही रहने दो.
Yeah. So we are all calling it as an accident and accepting whatever outcome we get.
It could be. The moment you have accepted, you are not putting any more efforts into it. Right?
Yeah. Thank you.
Priya ma'am है नहीं है?
Yes, sir, I'm here only. Each time I go to start, somebody's talking, so I'm just
No,
waiting.
no. This time don't listen to anyone.
Okay.
Yeah.
From accidents, I'll read.
Yeah.
Accidents such as a personal injury or a barn being struck by lightning or an occurrence which prevents one from embarking on a ship that is to be wrecked come only to those whose thoughts are thereby partially exteriorized to them. An accident presents to the one to whom it happens something of his past, either distant or recent. The accident is a part of one of his own thoughts that he has not balanced and which will endure and from time to time meet him face to face as a physical event until he has paid or received payment through the direct exteriorization of the design. Learns his lessons from that child of his mind and desire, and has satisfied his conscience. I'll read that again.
No. We will come to the finish that para and then we will start.
Okay, sir. Often, accidents come to injure him, often to help him, and sometimes as protections. Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay. Now, let us reread this. Accidents such as personal injury or a barn being struck by lightning, an unexpected event, in other words, or an occurrence which prevents one from embarking on a ship that is about to be wrecked, come only to those whose thoughts are thereby partially exteriorized to them. Let me quote a small example here. Whether it is pertinent or not, we can debate. See, I was trying to change my phone. I bought a new phone. This phone was to be delivered between 3 and 7 on a particular day. That was the committed delivery order. 3 बजे नहीं आया, 5 बजे नहीं आया, 7 बजे नहीं आया. Then that fellow requested me, sir, 8 बजे तक देखते हैं. 8 बजे नहीं आया, so automatically I had agreed with him, he cancelled it. And I was feeling heavily disappointed. क्योंकि वो फोन जब एक्सचेंज में खरीदते हैं तो फोन को खाली करना पड़ता है. And my phone always, I need lot of effort to spend because there are so many apps, so much data in it and all. ये पूरा किया, दुखी होके रात को 11:30 बजे बैठ के सबको फिर से लोड किया. And then out of frustration I said, I don't think the universe wants me to buy this phone. But desire, वो तो कंट्रोल में नहीं आता है. So I booked the phone again. Next day morning, I got the phone at 9 o'clock. Right? Now the interesting part. It was an accident that my desire did not get fulfilled. While placing the order, I remember one of the times that I was searching for it, there was a 13,200 as discount. But when I placed the order, the price indicated was 11,200 as the discount. 2000 का घाटा हो गया ना. So second time when I placed the order, I
You
actually
remembered
got,
the discount.
yeah, I told you, no, I got 13,500 as my discount. This is an accident, but it gave me more than what I was expecting.
Hmm.
Probably in my mind somewhere, there might have been an exteriorization of, yaar, kam se kam 13,200 se zyada to rehna chahiye discount. Probably that got manifested. Right? No, very similar to this. That's what he is trying to explain. There are accidents that happen. Accidents sometimes could become beneficial.
Yes.
Like my uncle, who was to travel in a particular flight, he could not get into that flight for some reason. The taxi driver who was taking him took a wrong turn on the highway, and he had to detour and then come back. By the time he reached the airport, gates closed. वो सबके ऊपर म्यूजिक डांस शिवतांड सब कुछ कर दिया और फिर दुखी होकर होटल वापस गया. नेक्स्ट डे मॉर्निंग ही टुक द फ्लाइट. दिस फ्लाइट नेवर रीच्ड द डेस्टिनेशन एट ऑल. Right?
Oh, that 9/11, this thing also tragedy. So many stories are there, no? For
Correct.
those who didn't go to the building, who were
It
supposed
was
to.
sheer accident that they did not go. And right, so accidents are of both the kinds that happen, and these are all triggered by the thought process, and the prior thoughts, current thoughts, futuristic thoughts, they could be sitting as part of our soul plan. It could be anywhere, but here we can introduce, in this scenario, we can introduce the soul plan. Right? Now, what has this particular Amazon experience taught me? अरे कुछ डिलीवर नहीं हुआ तो जाने दो, कैंसिल कर दो, फिर से बुक कर लो. If it is advantageous, take that booking. Otherwise, cancel it completely. Wait for some other time. This is one learning I had personally. दो बार ऐसा हुआ. Right? So, for everything, there is a learning accompanied by it. Instead of attaching your thought process to it, take the benefit and take it as a learning, an experience. That way, we stand to benefit better. Right? So let us continue there. So accidents as such as personal injury, they sometimes they even save us. An accident presents to the one to whom it happens something of his past, either distant or recent. The accident is a part of one of his own thoughts that he has not balanced and which will endure and from time to time meet him face to face as a physical event until he has paid or received payment through. Right? I will just come back after I finish this line. Direct exteriorization of the design learns his lesson from the child of his mind and desire and has satisfied his conscience. Right? Yahan pe, just think about it. There is an energy exchange between two thoughts. An energy exchange between two thoughts. In our meditation, what are we learning? When you sit and meditate and a master comes to you, it means there is something that you have to replicate and learn from the master. So you request the master to sit with you and meditate. They tell us that, right? Or you have an experience in which you are asked to pay gratitude. Gratitude for every single thing that has happened in your life. And in case you have hurt someone, we are also talking about resetting that energy exchange from the past or future or the current by means of apologizing, seeking forgiveness, and forgetting and offering forgiveness. All these are some of the meanings we can draw out of this particular para. Comments?
So is this the way the balancing happens, balance of thoughts, by addressing forgiveness?
Not balance of thought, forgiveness, gratitude and all becomes completion of the energies we have created by the thoughts.
Oh, okay.
You are resetting
Completion.
those energy imbalances,
Yeah.
right? Sir, any comment from your side? Jagdish sir?
No, I think it's okay. I totally accept it.
Right? Anup?
Fine, it's okay. Yeah.
Right? So I think those are probably the messages we are getting from the learned masters, and that is coming to us through this book also, saying that till the one who has issued the thought. Now, here one thing he has not written, these thoughts could be advertent or inadvertent, deliberate or unknowing. It could be anything. So, grounding that energy, that balance of energy becomes very critical, and these are some of the processes we can apply.
I just mentioned one incident. Always Patri sir mentions. One of Patricia's cousins always used to think, oh, robbers come and rob our house. Always he used to say that, very often. So one time he locked the door and left to out of town, and exactly the robbers came and robbed the house. So he said, he has sent the thought, in the thought form to the robbers. Even though the robbers did not have that thought until he released the thought. He said he released the thought. That thought went to universe, and universe conveyed the message to them. That's how it happened.
See, that is why they say no. See, I was telling in yesterday's session also. We have our
Tadastu.
that tathastu. Right?
So no negative thoughts.
Negative or positive, try to see that they are balanced. Fundamentally, they need to be balanced.
Yeah.
Which is another way of saying, learn the value of surrender and acceptance also.
Yeah. So by accepting also, you are balancing.
Correct. See, you are not giving it any more energy, no, after that.
Yeah.
Often accidents come to injure them, often to help them, and sometimes as protections. All three have got an objective. Yeah. आगे बढ़े, Priya ma'am.
Yes, sir. The reasons why events happen to him in the form of accidents in an exceptional, unforeseen manner are that a man would not do certain things to himself, like breaking an arm, or that circumstances do not call for a commission of crime against him. That is an intentional injury. Or finally, that the happening accidentally is the easiest and most direct way to bring about the juncture of time, condition, and place for the exteriorization. Further, there is in the happening of an accident a special call for attention. An accident rather than an ordinary event produces this because the accident is unlooked for, startling.
Startling. Right? So the reason why events happen to him in the form of accidents is an exceptional, unforeseen manner, or that a man would not do certain things to himself, like breaking an arm, or that circumstances do not call for a commission of a crime against him. That is, an intentional injury, or finally, that the happening accidentally is the easiest and most direct way to bring about. So this is the culmination of the thought. The thought energy culmination at a juncture, at a time, at a place is brought about by this so that the manifestation of that happens. ये कहानी खत्म कर दो यहाँ पर. Right? Any comments on that?
Basically, it gets your attention when it comes and brings your attention to the thoughts and what it's causing, and
Correct. But
when it comes in the form of.
See, in the previous para, he says a thought comes to injure him or teach him a
Yes,
lesson.
or
right?
even benefit you.
Correct. Right? So that culmination has to be completed within a certain time frame. That is what it means, based on whatever the thought energy has. Because it needs a time, it needs a place, it needs a situation or a condition. So if all three are matching, it can happen. Sir, you are about to say something. Yes, sir.
He said, but yeah, whatever says precisely what he said, but probably in a slightly different language. The point is this. So what he's saying is, when you say you are not prepared to hurt yourself deliberately, because the thought in the terms of desire, in terms of exteriorization, wants to do that. But if you don't do that to yourself, it happens.
Correct.
When the template, it happens to that. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Now, even if you don't do it, it will happen. You have released that energy, you are responsible to culminate that energy.
You are responsible. Yes. That's correct. Correct.
Yeah. Any other view?
I just have a question. Suppose if we release a thought with one particular aim, so if we don't finish that in time, whatever we think in time, so that it keeps coming to us in different forms until we finish it?
Yes. Or it may culminate in something which may be painful for you. But once a thought is released, it has to manifest.
Okay.
See, that is what they teach us in manifestation also, right?
Yeah.
You have to keep on giving it energy. You are enduring that thought.
Yes.
The moment you endure that thought by giving it the negative energy, even that you have to accept.
Sir, I will tend to differ from that. If you are saying that whatever thoughts you are releasing, it will culminate, right? If I am a dacoit, I want to loot a bank, right? Does it means that I'll be looting the banks all the time? Or I'll be doing that act?
Very good question, Anand. Let's look at it this way.
Yes.
Unless you think
Did
of
the
being
universe
caught,
tell you
probably you
when
will.
your thought will fructify?
Sorry, say it again.
Did the universe tell you when it is going to fructify?
No, that is you are setting the conditions for yourself.
You have set your condition for yourself, but
Yes.
the accident can happen, right? The other's thought may be more collective and more energy than what you are thinking.
Right.
So you are missing out that point. See, what you are thinking for yourself, you have released a thought. And you will face it one way or the other. When you will face it, we don't know. It could be thought from this life, it could be thought from last life or one of the last lives, and it could also be one of the future lives. We don't know. But what he is saying is that thought will definitely take shape. Now, if it is something to do with the community, in the case of the community, there will be so many other thoughts that are going to impact. But if it is an individual thought, it will come back to you. If not the thought, as you have thought, you may not loot the bank, but your thought manifestation will be taken, you will be taken to jail for that thought. It can be in any way. That is why it becomes an accident. That is the way I would interpret that topic, that question and the answer.
Okay.
Right, sir? Any different point we can make there?
No, you see, the point is if you have this, want to root the back, it's the desire. I know the desire is what releases has that thought.
Sir, but
Now-
then it will result in a thought. It can start with a desire.
Yes, that's how the thought has been. That's how that thought has come,
Exactly.
right?
Correct.
No. So, like you rightly said, it does. It means the circumstances that places the conditions right that will happen.
Yes.
That is right. Okay.
Correct.
But the circumstances, condition thing may happen in such a way that you won't be looked at, but you go to jail.
Ah,
That can also happen, right? That's what
that
it
is also a possibility. Or
Yes.
somebody may loot the bank, but you may get the benefit, which is your desire.
Yes, that is also.
That also is
Basically-
possible.
Basically, what is the purpose of looting the bank? I want to make more money sitting idly, right? Not
Exactly.
doing much
So,
efforts.
sitting
My
idle,
idea is to have more and more money. Yeah, right.
correct, Anup, I agree with you.
Yes.
Either, see, now there are two outcomes possible, right? It may happen that you will get the money without looting the bank. You don't have to go to that step. That is one side of manifestation. Or the other side is whoever loots the bank has to go to jail. Right? Because that potential thought also you would have released. अगर कुछ गड़बड़ हो गया तो जाके जेल में बैठना पड़ेगा, वो थॉट भी निकल गया है, वो थॉट मैनिफेस्ट होगा या ये थॉट इज अ मैटर ऑफ टाइम, इट्स अ मैटर ऑफ जंक्चर ऑफ टाइम, प्लेस एंड द सर्कमस्टेंस. कौन सा मैनिफेस्ट होगा बता नहीं सकते, इसीलिए वो दूसरा थॉट मत लाओ. मेरे को पैसा चाहिए थॉट लेके आओ. डकैती क्यों? मेरे को पैसा चाहिए.
Actually, you said it correctly because some months ago, I know some of you might have read. Okay, I read a newspaper item where an engineer, a qualified engineer, an employed engineer, okay, was arrested for looting a bank. Now, why did he do that? He took bank loan, heavy land to invest into stocks, and that did materialize. Okay, so in order to make that look at what? That's what the only option he saw. He could have done so many things. Instead, he decided to do that to loot a bank. And what happened? He got caught. And he was arrested. It's the truth. I read that. And I have used that example in many other circumstances, all spiritual laws, also in concept scarcity. See, he had other options, right? When he lost his money. If the idea was to make money and he borrowed the loot, borrow money, heavy money, put it all on stock and lost it. What does it mean? It means something else.
Greed.
Right? So he wanted to make he had so
Easy
many
living,
options.
easy money.
That's what he thought. But what happened subsequently? Okay, he lost both money, he lost his career, he went to jail.
Yeah.
Right.
So probably that is another way that we can probably align to this accident.
If you want to read a little further in the books, beyond advance, this is what he would say, this is my fate.
Correct.
He would have interpreted as fate. This is what God did.
That he says in the beginning also.
Right.
Whatever happens to you, you will call it by various names. Nemesis,
Right.
fate, predestined, preordained, and so many words. He has filled our mind with a vocabulary.
Yes, that is a stupidity because you don't understand.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but I believe that somewhere it has also to do with that act, whether you actually committed that act or not. For example, I wanted to make easy money. I am thinking in my mind, I am going to loot the bank. But now I don't have the whereabouts, how to do it. And then I am also poor at technology. I don't know what to do. So probably I had that desire, but I never did that activity, right? So ultimately that karma has not been performed, or the action has not been performed, right?
No, action may not have been, but the thought is good enough.
But the
From a
thought has
karma
been
perspective,
yes.
from a karma perspective, even the thought is part of the deed. Thought,
Agreed.
speech, action.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
But again, action has to be there in order, a physical action has to be there in order to do that, right? Because
You may not
ultimately,
have done the action. Somebody else might do the action and you may be the victim.
how somebody else will do the loot the bank and I'll be a victim?
हाँ? कहीं ना कहीं तो फंसेगा. Because
नहीं,
there is a thought that has got, see, as per this theory, there is a thought that is released. Somebody
see,
does it.
the cause and
See,
effect has to
now
be
in the
associated with
example
the.
sir was taking,
Yes.
he wanted to commit, he borrowed the money, he wanted to loot. He was not able to put that into action, but he got the result of it. जेल में जाके बैठना पड़ा.
But he did that activity, na?
No, he didn't. He only borrowed the money. He wanted to set that right by again looting.
Yeah.
But he couldn't loot.
He couldn't loot, but he got the result of it. So, jail bombs.
Sir, what do you mean to
He
say?
wanted,
the
he wanted
thought-
free food and he got it.
Yeah.
Yes, that's another way, nice way of looking at it.
He
Yes.
wanted free food and he got it.
And
Only thing behind
he
bars.
didn't get the food he wanted, but he got free food. And then he will
Yes,
say,
actually,
why
I
me? मैंने तो सिर्फ सोचा था, किया नहीं है. वो नहीं चलता है. सोच लिया तो कर लिया.
No, this reminds me of a very interesting story by O. Henry.
Yeah.
This is exactly what it does. He finds,
Monkey
he's one
paw.
of those tramps. Yes, exactly.
Monkey's paw. Even I was thinking of that right now when we were talking.
The story is he tries the. I'm just going to shorten it, summarize it. He, he's a tramp, so he finds that by going to jail he gets free food and free bed. Winter, cold, right? So he tries
Okay.
everything desperate to commit a crime, but he doesn't get caught, or he gets forgiven. Something has happened. But in the end, I say, okay, this doesn't happen to me. Let me go and rest. And he's happy now. He doesn't want to go to jail. He gets some money. But then what happens is he's sleeping in the park. He gets arrested for that sleeping at the park
Yes,
on the bench.
yes.
And then he goes. When he doesn't want it, he gets arrested.
Yes.
Very interesting.
All
short story
he
by
tries so many ways to get arrested, he doesn't get
he
arrested.
doesn't.
Finally, he decides he doesn't want to get arrested,
Then he gets
and
arrested.
then he gets arrested.
And what is the crime? Very simple, like sleeping on the park bench. That's the beauty. Because to answer Anu's thing, there are not only your thought, there are certain other also will be released in thought. It's quite possible they become a part of the larger thought.
It
And
becomes a
even
cloud that
in
rains.
that other story, the monkey's paw, even in that, like it brings a different kind of luck. So, like it happens in life also that you think it's like, you say you want money, but a very close relative of yours might die and leave you that money, which you wouldn't have wanted happening.
See, whichever the path, you desire for the money and leave it at that.
Yes, that's
That's
what
why they say, no, in manifestation, don't tell the universe what to do. You place your intent with absolute clarity. Don't go to the second part. The second part में universe ने बोल दिया उसने आपका process accept कर लिया तो लग गया.
So it's all about you don't think about the how it is going to be manifested. Just think what you want. Simple.
Correct. Yeah.
Process
you are
has to
asking
be
a
that
question.
this side.
Yeah. Madhu, you wanted a question here? Okay, she's not there. Yeah.
No, sir. I am here, sir. No,
Okay.
I just wanted to ask that since we had the desire, he had the desire either to earn money or some bad thought, it might take to manifest.
See, that desire, has it become thought? Say about manifestation, he writes one thing. Your thought that you have released is like a seed that you plant. Can you predict which seed will become a tree and which will not?
No. Sir, yes. The thought which you feed more will get manifested. Isn't it?
No. You're not got my point. मैं 5 मैंगो के सैपलिंग्स लाके डालता हूँ, पांचों के पांचों पेड़ बन जाएंगे?
No.
That is the point.
So one question I want to ask here, when you talk about the thoughts, okay, and when you talk about the manifestation,
So thoughts, your feelings, your desire, your feelings gives a shape to your thoughts, and it gets manifested. This is what has been always said and has been comprehended every time. Now, when we are talking here, the feeling never doesn't come here.
No, one sec. What is desire and feeling together? Are they two separate entities or is it one?
Separate.
No. They are
So
two sides
desire
of the
hoga, but
same
feelings.
coin. They are two sides of the same coin,
Yes.
right?
But it's
So
two
they are
different
one
things, isn't it?
entity with the two dimensions. It is one entity with the two different dimensions. Both of them trigger the thought.
Acha.
See, first time you may be having a desire. Probably you may not be having the feeling associated with it, but once you would have thought in your mind, right, then you will have that feeling and the relative emotions associated with it, right?
Correct.
And then you end up into that thinking feeling loop, right? That okay, now so that you will be stuck into that loop forever. So pumping that iron into that thought, right? So that you are just empowering the thought day in and out, right? So that's what I think it is being referred to.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is the practical way. This is the theoretical way.
Yeah.
Yes. And then it gets manifested.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. My other question was, as Anup sir example, with the Anup sir example, was the desire to first to have money, easy money, or was his desire or feeling to loot a bank? Is that his strongest desire? Is his another desire not to get caught? Which one was strong?
None of it is, the answer is none of it is true. He just gave an example to get
Or get free food, sir. Whichever is strong, only that will be manifested. Other one will
Anu, be very careful in answering. Don't generate any associated thought.
No.
I am having another desire a lot, almost from last 1 year. I've been thinking, that I'll be getting I'll be having a lottery of 5 crore rupees. But the point is that I'm never buying a lottery.
So you may get it, but if you put in too much energy, you may get it in some other form.
Yes.
But we will fuel your dream of Lamborghini, Anupji.
Definitely. I'm also having another,
currently I will send you that song.
Yes. I have another one for becoming a doctor one fine day,
So, but you are not defining the condition of the doctor, no?
No, right. I'll be doing my doctorate by studying, right? So I know I'm not in
the medical go that field. Far? Become a spiritual doctor. That is good enough.
I know that, but I want to have that doctorate associated with my name. So that's the kind of a desire that I have since a long time,
Do one thing, sponsor some university. When you get that 5 crores, they will give you one honorary. There are so many universities who are doing that.
Yeah, I know that, but that's probably not rightfully earned. Yeah.
And just before this, I think Madhu ma'am, somebody was asking that question. No, what was the thing about he wants to make the money or he doesn't want to get caught? Now again, the thought also depends on what kind of a thought it is. If it has a fear associated with it, or if it has a the opposite of it, like I don't want to get caught. Your thought is going to the getting caught. So you will be causing that also to happen along with the thought of robbing the bank. So you'll be bringing even that into play.
Yeah. See, that is why he says, no, it is only your thought. What about the others? How many people may be there in the same community saying that all my money, mere pure punji wahi pe padi hui hai, so I don't want that bank to be ever robbed.
Or that I want it to be safe rather. If I don't want it to be robbed, I probably get it robbed.
So it's like, the prayers of those people have been manifested more as compared to the prayer of yours. Isn't it?
But one thing, उनका manifest होगा, आपका manifest नहीं होगा, लेकिन आपको result मिल जाएगा.
Obvious ना, कहीं ना तो outcome आएगा ना, sir. So you become a victimize of your thought also.
You always become that. Anyway, I think we will stop at this stage. Otherwise, I think some of you have got work tomorrow, na, Anup?
Yeah, of course.
We'll stop here.
No, and one more thing, sir, like over a period of time, no, when you find this matching or not matching of your what thoughts or intentions you have and the outcomes, you start, and then you come to know something else that happened. You start kind of realizing that that expectation starts getting dropped. Though the intention continues, the expectation drops. Like
तो ये
and
हो
you
गया
will
ना
not see.
आपका. See, your
You'll not
thought
see
will
the
endure only
incidents.
when you keep supplying it with energy. Once you accept the change scenario, that will stop, na?
No, I didn't get you.
See, in the beginning only he talks about thoughts and accidents, right? If I as the director I am accepting, saying that ठीक है वो ऐसा हो गया है change scenario, I will make do with what I have received.
No, I'm not
Thereby
talking
you have
that
finished
way.
balancing that thought, na?
No, I'm saying in a slightly different way. Like, for example, let me give you an incident that happened for me. Some years back, my son was much younger also, and his school bus would stop on the opposite side of the main road, very busy, full of traffic road. So I would make it a point to be there before time, you know, because I have to cross the road and then be there before the bus comes and cross back. So I would stand on my side of the road only without crossing. And when I see the bus turning in the end of the road, I would cross over and stand on the other side because the other side was sunny usually. So I would stand on the this side before crossing itself, one spot outside my gate. And I would always make it a point to go there at least 10 minutes earlier itself than when the bus is expected to come. Okay, so once it happened that exactly when I needed to go down, I got a phone call and I was not able to immediately leave also from the house to go to the that spot where I usually stand outside the gate. And then I was like half, you know, kind of, oh, why this person has to call now only, I need to get there. And I'm not able to this thing also because that call was also important and that person was also important to me. So this happened, and then finally in a hurry, I literally ran downstairs. And while this call was just getting going through, I heard a very loud sound outside. And I didn't know what I was just keeping my mind on getting down and finished the call, ran down. And the exact spot where I stand every day, you know, before crossing, there's a that street light there. And that entire huge part of the top of the street light had fallen exactly on the spot where I stand. Okay. So if I had been there on time, if this call had not come, I would have been under it. So, and the thing is, at the same time, my intention was I should be to the bus on time. And the bus got delayed that day. The bus came late. So this call was actually like an intervention for me to have my intention fulfilled. At the same time, it kind of literally kept me safe. It didn't allow me to go and stand there where I would always stand at that 10 minutes
Probably
early.
you never thought वहां जाके मैं खड़ी हुई और वो ऊपर पूरा contraption नीचे गिरेगा करके कभी सोचा नहीं होगा.
No, never. I had not even realized that
That's
light
what
was
I'm
there.
saying. So probably had you thought, you might have found yourself
Then I may
there
not have stood
right
there at all.
underneath it.
Girega sochi thi, so I wouldn't have stood there only.
So the call would have come and then got disconnected also.
So what the point I'm trying to say is not even this incident like that. Several times it's happened. Like I might have not got an auto for a long time, and so you know, I wouldn't have been able to get to some place on time, and then I've had to cancel that outing or whatever. And then you come to know later that it was actually a good thing because there was some you know, some kind of galata happening in that area.
Correct. It's quite likely. See, in what form is it going to come, you cannot predict.
So like several times I have found something like this happening where something comes in the way of what you had decided to do or what you had thought of doing, and actually turns out to be for the better. So like the beneficial
these things, These will be happening with every single person, whether he is aware of it or not.
So what I'm trying to say is, over a period of time, having experienced this again and again and again, some like you also start, where something goes wrong, instead of getting totally affected by it, you just take it as it comes. You don't label it as something that went wrong.
Quite
Because
possible, yes.
you don't know, because you have no idea what the rest of the universe had done to make that happen. And why it had made it happen.
Correct. I know.
So it can be beneficial for you also, like that. They say, no, that accident for me was the phone call getting in my way of going down, but it turned out to be beneficial for me.
See, that is why they say you surrender to every single move that is happening. We don't know the reason.
Nature also helps us here, right, sir?
Right.
Whatever, if we are like always thinking about the universe, others,
Correct.
we're good with the positive, so it always comes to us, even though the circumstances doesn't help, but
But
universe
this
helps
has been
us.
a good discussion. Today the progress has been very slow, but the clarity is absolute.
Especially on thoughts, sir. Thought being. I just the morning I came up with this word, like breath. All the beings that takes breath being, actually breath being. Is that right, sir? So even
See,
thoughts take
after
breath,
reading
right?
this book, I only understand one thing: there is nothing wrong.
That's true, sir. Everybody is right. That's what they say, right?
Yeah.
Every thought is right. Everyone is right in their own point of view.
Right.
No one is, there is no wrong word at all.
The answer to that is our level of consciousness at that moment, the awareness is limited.
Yeah, now it's like expanding.
Correct. So,
True.
I think
Beautiful.
I will
So
stop the
base,
recording here.